The Philippines is a great escape for a lot of people. It is an escape in some ways for me, but more than anything, it's just a challenging game of chess. One of my absolute biggest fears, as I get older, we all have them, and we all have to go through it, unfortunately. But for me, at 45, having a baby, it was really a problem already. And now the future is 6 years later almost.
Life moves like a revolving door. People come and go. Relationships fall apart. New ones bloom. Lives are lost, and others are just beginning. Change is constant.
And honestly, I can't think of a whole lot of other things I'm scared of besides doing everything I can. Then yeah, that would be the ultimate goal. Some of these things are probably impossible, and they're not going to ever really fit in.
At 51, I've come to understand something. Life doesn't wait. It drives you forward, ready or not. The Philippines wasn't just another destination. It became a part of my life, my story. My story has two worlds, two families, and at the center of it all, my Filipina-American daughter. She's the thread connecting my past to the legacy I want to leave behind.
We all like to dream and have goals, and those are pretty much all I have left. I don't worry about a whole lot of other things.
I dream of uniting a family, bridging my son and grandkids here to the Philippines, to build something together, to create a future where my son can protect his little sister. Something that will last generations.
Here at Robinson's Mall, at Third Deli. We're gonna get some T-bones here. 400 pesos per kg. They look pretty decent. Probably get some other things as well. Down here, just premium ground.
Cheers to everyone out there in the YouTube world. This video isn't going to dive down into this emotional state, but I will mention there's one thing that you can't escape when you're going to do this Philippine life, especially if you want to be integrated with expats, you want to have some friendships, you're paying attention to some vloggers out there, listening to some news, coming and goings and stuff. There's one thing that you're just not going to escape, and that's how fast everything changes around here. The news of people passing, relationships coming and going, it is never ending. It is constant death. It is constant breakups. Marriage is over. I don't even pay attention to that big of a circle of people. And even in my little circle of what I watch and keep my eyes on and just kind of see what the trends of what's going on, it's always evolving. Health is deteriorating for so many people. Lifestyles are changing for so many people. Issues, problems. You don't see a bunch of videos where it just gets good, better, best. It kind of is like, okay, problems, drama, more problems, kaboom.
And yes, being here, I will definitely do liver, pork liver. I will try it. And something I didn't expect to find was down here, beef hearts. It looks very nutrient dense. I'd eat chicken livers and chicken hearts, so I guess I could do beef hearts. So that's definitely a more affordable option. I don't know if I'm going to like it, but I will eat it and find out. Honestly, I'm kind of impressed. It's a pretty good looking selection here.
Everybody's making updated videos on something that's happened here recently. Second time this year that I've known of somebody that I've gotten to know a little bit, and probably the fourth one this year that I knew somewhat about, because it's always seeming to happen. And this one, met Mr. Mark last year, Mr. Mark Thornton. I met him once, not going to pretend we were friends, got to know him, Kentucky boy, he seemed really cool, treated me with good manners, polite. I kind of thought I understood him. We had about a 15-20 minute, just one-on-one, no YouTube stuff, just kind of little back and forth. Man's busy. He's got people coming and going in his life. He's got emails, a mile long of people who want to meet him. So I left it with one meeting, said hi. I kind of understood what was going on. But got no problems with the guy. The guy seemed to be genuine with me. So it's all you can really base things off of. I don't need to hear everybody else's stories. I've seen it for the most part. I've heard about things. And, you know, at this point in life, which one of us isn't doing things that someone else doesn't like? You know, if you're that guy who just doesn't do anything wrong and everyone likes you, stay away from me. I don't believe any of that stuff. You know, it's like we all got issues. We're all here. We've had past. If our American lives or wherever you come from's lives were so perfect, we probably wouldn't be here. We had families that we all wanted and stuff. We wouldn't be here.
This is just all the meat right now. Beef heart, pork liver, chicken breast, T-bone steaks, premium ground beef. How much is he getting?
Huh?
How much did you tell him?
1 kilo.
I gotta think of things in kilos versus pounds. So that's 2 pounds. I'm thinking 1 pound there.
Have you ever tried vlogging in a sauna? That's what this is like. It's just like a little jungle, humidity. Oh my goodness. Feels like I'm taking a shower underneath this shirt. Dripping. It is warm. It's not even really actually hot. It's just really humid right now. But, you know, one of my absolute biggest fears, you know, as I get older, we all have them, and we all have to go through it, unfortunately. But for me, at 45, having a baby, while not an old man, some other people around here definitely having babies even later than that, much later than that. But at 45 for me, it was really a problem already, being worried about the future. And now the future is 6 years later almost. And honestly, I can't think of a whole lot of other things I'm scared of besides not watching my little one grow up. Doing everything I can to put a family together around her, including my son back in the States. And I got 2 sons, and yeah, that would be the ultimate goal, getting them both in my life some way, in shape or form, including the Philippines, hopefully. I got a daughter, she's growing her family, you know, it's like, some of these things are probably impossible and they're not going to ever really fit in, but you know, we all like to dream and have goals, and those are pretty much all I have left. I don't worry about a whole lot of other things that's going on out there. Mine is all centered around protecting this little one, trying to get the family members involved in her life, so as anything can happen here in the Philippines that we see here all too often, this door is revolving. It don't slow down for none of us. Every time you turn around or you take a peek somewhere, somebody else is moving on, relationships are ending. And yeah, unfortunately, people pass on in a blink of an eye. It's over for many people every day around here. You know, my channel is not about being fit, exercise guy. He thinks any of this stuff. If you see me exercising on video, I'm reminding the people that understand. I'm scared. I don't want to see my daughter go on in life without me. I see and am reminded of things all the time around here of how fast things change.
Can you please forward?
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah.
You know, I got one ultimate goal here in the Philippines, and that's to get my daughter surrounded by as much family as possible and get her set up for life, because you're always reminded, you just don't know how much time you have here. It's always being shown to you some way, shape, or form. It can end at any moment in time. As soon as you get a motorcycle around here, everybody's reminding you how dangerous it is here to ride. As soon as you do anything around here, people are reminding you of all the dangers all around. You know, so for us expats or people who are living here, raising families, no one had to tell me. From the moment my wife got pregnant, oh my God, it's been panic mode internally since. So for me, talking about the Philippines isn't trying to fit in with a bunch of vloggers or a bunch of expats. It's me trying to figure out how to surround her with the best possibility for the future, because I'm just one of those guys that always thinks, you know, man, you just don't know what happens tomorrow. You just don't know where you're going to be. It's probably got a lot to do with working in nursing homes for almost a decade and a half. When you're in those environments, you're reminded constantly, 24/7, of how quick life can be taken away from you. Looking at people's pictures on the walls, you know, just a few years ago, you know, this granny or this grandfather was just a guy in the neighborhood who was hanging out with a bunch of kids, playing sports, cooking, barbecuing, and next thing you know, something goes bad and their health deteriorates quickly and they're in a nursing home. And a lot of times they don't even make it to the nursing home. They just pass away. People want to know, it's like, oh, is he trying to be a vlogger? Is he trying to just be out there? It's like, no, I'm in panic mode. I've been in panic mode for 6 years. This vlogging thing is 99% a documentary of my life from my daughter. The 1% is for the vlogging world. It really is. I mean, there's days I wake up and I'm like, I'm kind of done with this. There's days I wake up and I'm like, oh, no chance, no way am I done with this. There's so many more videos to make for my daughter, so much to show. And when I say daughter, I mean, I got 2 daughters. So I don't talk about that one on camera a whole lot, but there's 2 daughters out there I want to have a documentary of my life about, because I want them to know who I was and what things were like in my life. The Philippines is a great escape for a lot of people. It is an escape in some ways for me, but more than anything, it's just a challenging game of chess. You got to figure out the moves and the things you should and shouldn't do. You got people warning you, so you got all the roadmaps to potential dangers while you're here. But there's a huge opportunity to do well here. And being married to a Filipina, having a Filipina daughter, you got some access to things that make life possibly a little bit easier here. And with what time I got left, I really want to make the maximum effort to see what I can do here. America kind of already done a lot of things there, but now I got a son who's a part of my life. So we're going to be trying to push things forward, and I'm trying to get my grandkids to be a part of my Philippine life as much as I want them to be a part of my American life. I want them to experience going out to the beaches and sandbars and boat rides and just all the goings on here in the Philippines, because if they don't experience it while they're little now, they never will experience it. There won't be a reason for them to be here in 15 years. I'll just be an old man by then. You know, I doubt they're going to want to come to the Philippines and hang out with grandpa, the real grandpa, the 75-year-old grandpa, versus the 51-year-old grandpa that's doing it now. Let's get this thing going now is in my brain. It's like, man, we got houses we can start building. We got a business to set up. We got people who already want houses built. It's not even as much about making money. It's about having things to do through networking and just meeting people, building bonds with my son, building bonds with my grandkids. You know, the money might be there, it might not be there, but you know what? Sitting around talking about things forever is not part of the plan for any of us. They're not even going to be here if that's all I do. So we got to do things together. Whether it works out or not, we'll find that out, and I'll vlog it all. You know, a lot of guys out there, you know, it's hard for some people to understand. There's other ways to be a part of the Philippines. You don't have to retire to be in the Philippines. Yeah, you're going to have to figure out your own situation, but there's plenty of people who are figuring it out. By the thousands and thousands of people have figured out how to make the Philippines a part of their life. And for me, I don't want to live here 12 months a year. Never thought about living here 12 months a year. Not until I can get my whole family here. And until I can do that, then I'm not really that interested in living here 12 months a year. The Philippines, for me, is great to be here part of the year and part out. I like that part of the Philippines. I like how things are transitioning towards that. I want to miss it. I don't want to be here so much like other people. It's like they need a break from the Philippines. They need a break from this. You know, they got to go to a new town because they got to get out of this town after a while because it just gets to be too much. Well, that's perfect to have 2 locations. And for me, having a home in Kentucky and building a home here in the Philippines and building a business, and when the business is in full effect and things are transitioning the way they're supposed to, it might be a reason to be here full time all the time. All right, so real quick, just a little catch me up here. So I got a kilo of beef, 504 pesos. That's the premium. Got a kilo of chicken breast, $2.50. Half a kilo of beef heart. I got a feeling that's probably the best deal up there. It's probably the healthiest thing up there as well, is beef heart. I don't know, so I'm not even gonna let her edit it out, but my guess is it's super nutrient dense and just tons of protein, and it was half the price of beef. So if it's any good, I'll be going back to get a bunch more of that. Here's a half a pound of liver, pork liver. It was
I can't even read that. What is it? 80 pesos. 80 pesos for, you know, a little more than a pound. Some bones for her stew. Yeah, what is that? T-bones. 138. That can't be T-bones. Beef bones. Robin DM beef bones. I don't know what you got there. Is that really T-bone?
Yes.
138 pesos for more than half a kilo, six tenths. So, yeah, 138 pesos for the T-bones. Surprisingly good price in my eyes. 345 pesos for, why are these not a full kilo? Why is it like 75?
No, I didn't get the full kilo.
What is this? Beef?
Nice.
Beef cubes?
Yeah,
Beef cubes.
Yeah, for my vlogs.
Yeah. I don't know.
Just put it on top of each other.
Yeah, so I'll give you a total here in a little bit. Wow, here it is. Boom. Okay.
Ain't none of us perfect. And, you know, first of all, I'm a Christian, so I'm always trying to let Idol know. It's like, man, mistakes don't stop. You know, they just keep happening. You try to limit them as much as possible. You try to walk the straight and narrow as much as you can, but don't ever try to pretend you ain't going to fall off that beaten path, because it's going to happen one way or the other. So again, I don't pay attention to people who pretend they don't walk off the beaten path. You know, this world is tricky. There's always obstacles coming at us. There's obstacles coming at us here in the Philippines, just like it does in America. Sometimes they're different. Sometimes there are more of them than others. You know, that's why it's important to stay busy. It's important to stay active, focused on things. You know, the best way to sum me up here in the Philippines is I'm a guy who's learning. I'm trying to figure it out the best I can, because I'm raising a Filipina in this country. I'm a father of a Filipina, and this is my home as much as it is hers. Might not come with all the perks and benefits, and maybe all the people don't see it the same way, but it doesn't change nothing on the inside of me. I was here when my daughter was born, so this is my home with my daughter. And for the next 20, 30 years, I'll try to share it with y'all. I'll try to take you through my journeys. I'm not going to do a whole lot of videos trying to teach you about how to date in the Philippines, because that's all stuff's pretty lame. You know, when you can see a 75, 80-year-old guy walking around with a 21-year-old beautiful girl, there's not a whole lot to learn here. Besides, keep trying, get here, enjoy yourself, make some good decisions. Don't open your checkbook up. Don't give money away. You know, if you don't have some of those basic things, then honestly, there ain't no video out there really going to help you too much. You're going to just make a lot of mistakes here. No amount of videos of protecting people is going to save them, because they're going to keep making the mistakes. But it's good to make videos and tell people, like, you try to warn them. It ain't going to stop what's happening. So, I mean, you can't protect some people. Some people are just determined to do what they're going to do. That includes me. You're not going to stop me from starting a business. You're not going to talk me out of building houses because of this or some whatever rule, or heaven forbid, my daughter owns the property all one day and I don't. Like, that one's one of the biggest ones I get the biggest chuckle out of. Like, my dream is someone else's nightmare. My dream is my daughter has all these titles and properties in her name. She's a Filipina, so no one's going to take them from her. You know, it's her properties. You know, she's not some American kid over here with titles. She's a Filipina girl who's going to have a bunch of titles in her name one day. And people act like that's a nightmare to me. Like, I don't even care if they're ever in my name. I don't care about any of that stuff. I want her to have everything she can, because again, we don't know if we're even going to be here tomorrow. And you know what, if I take my last breath, I can take one final gulp, I'll be happy to know all those titles are in her name. Because what else are they for? Me? I'm 51. I need a scooter and some food and a gym, and I'm content and happy. That's the problem when you don't have activities. You might find out you're not so worried about your money situation or who might get your money one day if you have other things to focus on. For me, I can't make enough money just to give to her, because I'm worried about them and my next generation, not me. I'm not worried about my granite countertops and how much I've got so I can show you all what I've got. I want to show you how much I can give her over the next few years, because it just isn't fun to live worrying about yourself all the time. For me, it just isn't. The older I get, it gets to be more fun to share that, I guess, because so many people here are so tied to what they have left. I realize that may be all you have, so it is fearful. I've lost a lot of money in a couple divorces already. And the big one, you know, with my kid's mother, you know, I lost $1 million lawn care service. You know, I had 50 employees when I got divorced. I lost that whole business. I mean, that thing was worth millions at the time, but there was no internet around yet, not like it is today. There was no way for me to really engage what it was worth. I couldn't put it out there on a YouTube channel and try to sell it to some bigger corporation. It just dissolved. It just fell apart. Couldn't find a rescue buyer through all the abilities that I could have done today with all the information that can be exchanged so quickly. So I know what it's like to lose a crap ton of money, go through a bitter divorce. I've been there. I've done that. If you don't let this stuff go, you are never going to enjoy what time you've got left in this Philippines. If you're worried about me building properties or building for my daughter because she's going to own it, or if a family member is going to get it, believe me, man, you're not changing nothing I'm thinking. It's just really showing how upset things are with you internally. Quit worrying about that stuff. There's always that blogger, well, I mean, not blogger, there's always that person out there who's the quickest guy to tell you, you can't own property in the Philippines. Man, it's been 6 years of listening to a tribe of dudes tell you what you can and can't do in the Philippines. And maybe they're right on some of the things, but it doesn't mean the reasons why you were doing those things are their reasons. So not everyone here is trying to not risk. I don't mind taking risks, and I expect to lose on some of them.
Like